plea of not guilty. He's innocent. Second thing that happened in court today is that we let the court know that next week we'll be filing a motion to dismiss. We expect these charges to be dismissed. You all remember the Brian Benjamin case. Similar shaky theory. That case was dismissed. Same prosecutors, same theory. But the spectacle of this so exciting to them that they wanted to bring another one of these cases. This case isn't even a real case. This is the airline upgrade corruption case. The third thing we said is that we demand that they bring exculpatory information and the discovery to court on Wednesday. As you know from looking at the indictment and from what happened in court, there are no emails, text messages, or any corroboration whatsoever that the mayor knew about anything having to do with these campaign donations. The entire body of evidence is one staffer that says there was a conversation. What you have not learned is that that staffer has lied, and the government is in possession of that lie. When that staffer was first interviewed, that staffer said that Mayor Adams knew nothing about this, he was not involved in this, and that he is innocent. They have that information. They have not turned that over to us. They have not turned that over to you. And so it sort of does not surprise us that they did not answer any questions at that press conference, their little press conference the other day. They have no answer for any of these questions. And they didn't want to stick around from questions either. Questions like, why are they doing this? Why are they targeting him? The questions you all started to ask as they were leaving. They normally answer questions. They didn't want to stay for questions in this case. And they left, and they made this assertion of this. They implied that somehow he's disappointing people, or that people ought to be disappointed in him. It's not him doing this. It's the government, the other government, that everybody should be disappointed in, bringing this case against the sitting mayor. I don't have anything further today, and thank you all.
All right, so we've been listening to Mayor Adams' lawyer, and Adams decided not to talk. Marcia, your reaction?
Well, I'm not surprised about that, because he said all along that he was going to let his lawyers handle the legal part of it, and he was going to handle running the city. But I'd like to talk to you about the two things that he said. He said, first of all, they're going to file a motion to dismiss based on a case that was brought against the then Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin. Much of that case, which had to do with campaign finance laws, was ultimately dismissed pre-trial before it got to trial. So they may think that they have a case for getting it dismissed before it even gets to trial. Secondly, he's asking for exculpatory information. Now, I don't know all the exculpatory information that they have or that they have found out, but I do know that apparently the mayor sent text to his campaign people saying, make sure you understand no foreign money involved. And if they had that information, they want to know whether that was given to the grand jury as exculpatory, things that could prove his innocence, as opposed to his whether they would vote a true bill and say that he should be charged.
And is Adams' attorney, did we just hear him basically allege that the witness inside the Adams administration has lied to federal prosecutors, originally said this was all false, and then became a cooperating witness, providing lots of the testimony that went into this 57-page indictment?
Well, the witness I think he's talking about is Rina Abasova, who was his liaison to the Turkish community and could be, in terms of the indictment, one of the people who went with him on a trip to Turkey. And there was testimony that it turns out that when she was being interviewed by the federal prosecutors, at one point she excused herself to go to the ladies' room, where she deleted some of her apps, that was the secret apps where she was communicating with members of the administration. So they would want to know if that information has happened as well. But I think that they were referring to Rina Abasova, and if they can prove that she testified two ways, that may be exculpatory information that could help them get the case dismissed.
Marcia, thank you. We want to head out to federal court right now. Alice Gaynor joins us after being inside the courtroom. Alice?
Well, I know Marcia mentioned, and you all saw, that Mayor Adams just motioned with his hand. He did not speak just now. Only his attorney, Alex Spiro, spoke. But we did hear him speak in the courtroom when he was asked to enter his plea. He entered it himself. He said, "I am not guilty, Your Honor." The rest of the time, he just politely said good afternoon and just said that, yes, I have, Your Honor, or yes, I do, Your Honor, when he was asked questions about whether or not he had read the indictment, whether or not he wanted to waive the public reading of the indictment. You were just talking about that motion they plan to file to dismiss Marcia, and I'm always amazed at Marcia's, just her wealth of information going back and talking about the case, the basis on which they want to try and dismiss this case. That's pretty standard procedure for them to try and file a motion to dismiss. Obviously, defense is going to do what it can to get this case tossed out. Their next court appearance is going to be next Wednesday, and I just want to talk about the mayor's demeanor. You know, he came outside. I couldn't see if he did a thumbs up, I believe is what he did. But inside, he was just like any other defendant sitting in that courtroom. You know, he wasn't hunched over. He wasn't overly confident. He was just sitting there staring straight ahead, you know, all business. He didn't turn around and look at anybody. When he got up to leave, he smiled at the court officer who was in charge of that room, but he did not look at anybody in the gallery. And that gallery was full of press in there and also other attorneys who work in the building. The first row behind him was his security team. We did not see any of his aides in there, any family, any friends of his. It was just him at that defense table and his one attorney who you just heard speak a few moments ago. Marcia, Cindy, Doug.
Alice Gaynor, thank you so much outside federal court. Appreciate it.
And once again, a not guilty plea from Mayor Adams. His attorney was the only one who spoke after they left the courthouse, Alex Spiro. The line that stuck with me, just in summation of their case, he said, "This is not a real case. This is an airline upgrade corruption case." So clear that they will fight this in every way possible, in every way at their disposal. They expect charges to be dismissed. They entered a plea, as I said, of not guilty, and they did allege that there is exculpatory evidence against the campaign staffer and staffer in the Adams administration that was a cooperating witness in this case.
All right, we have a long way to go.
We sure do.
Thank you so much for joining us at CBS News New York at noon. I'm Cindy Hsu.
And I am Doug Williams. We'll have much more later, coming up at 5 and 6 o'clock on the news at 5 and 6. Thanks for watching. We'll see you then.
This has been breaking news.